"Santa, can you give my mama a husband for Christmas?" The little girl typed with shaking fingers, not knowing the message was about to land in the hands of the most feared man in the city. The message was sent before anyone could stop it. A small thumb pressed the screen. The phone buzzed once, and a child's wish left a quiet apartment and traveled into a world built on fear, silence, and power. In that instant, two lives that should never have touched were pulled together by accident, hope, and a question no one had ever dared to ask that man before. The apartment was cold, despite the heater struggling in the corner. The air smelled faintly of rice and soap. A tiny Christmas tree leaned slightly to the side, decorated with paper stars colored by tired crayons. The lights flickered, some working, some not, like they were unsure whether joy was allowed to stay. Mina Park moved quickly through the room, tying her hair back with a worn band. Her coat hung by the door, damp from snow. Her shoulders were tight, her steps practiced. She had learned how to move fast without wasting energy. There was always another shift to prepare for, another bill to calculate, another worry to push down until later. On the floor near the tree sat her daughter Ellie, legs crossed, back straight, face serious in the way only children can be when they are carrying thoughts too big for them. Ellie held the phone with both hands, staring at the screen like it might blink back at her. Ellie was 6 years old. Her world was small but sharp. She noticed things adults thought were hidden. She noticed the way her mother sighed before smiling. She noticed the way Mina stared at the ceiling at night when sleep would not come. She noticed the silence where laughter should have lived. Ellie had heard kids at school talk about dads. Some talked about rides on shoulders. Some talked about loud voices and slammed doors. Ellie listened quietly, nodding, pretending she understood. She did not. She only knew that her mama carried everything alone. Mina had lost her husband years ago in a work accident that left behind more questions than answers. The day he never came home, the apartment had filled with people and food and apologies. After they left, the silence moved in and never really left. Mina worked wherever she could, cleaning offices before sunrise, stocking shelves late at night. She smiled when spoken to and disappeared when she could. Strength became her uniform. Silence became her shield. Ellie grew up inside that silence. That night, while Mina showered quickly before another shift, Ellie sat at the table and stared at the phone. She had heard about Santa from school, from cartoons, from songs that promised miracles if you asked nicely. Ellie did not want toys. She wanted her mama to stop looking tired all the time. She opened the messages and scrolled through names she could not read. One name stood out because it was short and simple. Mr. Kang. Ellie had heard that name once. Mina had said it quietly, carefully, when talking on the phone. Ellie remembered the way her mother's voice changed, how respectful it sounded, how cautious. Ellie did not know what that meant. She only knew the message box was empty, so she typed. She typed slowly, carefully, making sure every word felt kind. She asked Santa for a husband for her mama. She explained that her mama worked very hard. She said she would be good. She said she could share her crayons. Then she pressed send. The message did not go north. It went downtown, into the back seat of a black car gliding through city streets lit by cold winter lights. Kong Jun looked down at his phone when it buzzed. He almost ignored it. People did not text him unless they wanted something or feared something. Both bored him. He glanced anyway. The words stopped him. Kong Jun was a man shaped by hard choices and harder lessons. He had built his life on control, on silence, on making sure no one ever saw weakness in him again. His name carried weight. Doors opened when he entered rooms. Voices lowered. Eyes looked away. But the message on his screen was not afraid. It was small, honest, soft. A child asking Santa for a husband for her mama. Kong Jun felt something tighten in his chest. Not anger, not suspicion. Memory. He remembered being a boy in a cramped apartment, listening to his mother cry softly so he would not hear. He remembered wishing for someone to make things easier for her. He remembered learning very early that wishes did not answer themselves. He read the message again. Then again the car slowed at a red light. The city reflected in the glass like a moving painting. For years, people had begged him for money, for favors, for mercy. No one had ever asked him for love. He typed back. He said this was not Santa. He said he saw the message by mistake. He asked for her name. Ellie nearly dropped the phone when the reply came. Her heart jumped so hard she felt dizzy. She stared at the screen, unsure if she had done something wrong. She typed back that her name was Ellie. She asked if he was Santa's helper. She asked him not to tell her mama. Kong Jun leaned back in his seat, staring at the ceiling of the car. He told his driver to keep going. He replied that he would not tell. He asked about her mama. Ellie answered in bursts, fingers flying now that someone was listening. She talked about Mina making soup late at night, about her mama saying sorry too much, about her mama being strong but lonely, about wanting someone who would not leave. Kong Jun read every word slowly. Each sentence felt like a small stone dropped into a still pond. He asked what would make her mama feel safe. Ellie paused for a long time before answering. She said money helps, but it is not everything. She said her mama likes quiet. She said her mama likes warm food and calm voices. She said her mama needs someone who listens. Kong Jun closed his eyes. He had spent his life being loud without speaking, powerful without warmth, feared without being known. A child had just described everything he was not. The next morning, Mina found her phone buzzing while tying Ellie's shoes. She frowned, confused. No one messaged her that early. She opened the thread and felt the blood drain from her face. She read Ellie's message. She read the replies. Her hands began to shake. Fear came first, sharp and familiar. Mr. Kong was not a man you involved your child with. He was not a man you accidentally invited into your life. She turned slowly and saw Ellie watching her, eyes wide, ready for punishment. Mina knelt and pulled Ellie into her arms. Ellie smelled like shampoo and paper. Mina did not shout. She did not scold. She cried. Ellie whispered that she only wanted her mama to be happy. Mina held her tighter and realized something painful and true. Ellie had seen everything Mina tried to hide. Later that day, another message arrived. Kong Jun said he understood the mistake. He apologized for the shock. He asked if Mina would be willing to speak. Public place. Her choice. Mina stared at the screen for a long time. She agreed, but only at a cafe. When they met, the cafe smelled like coffee and cinnamon. Sunlight filtered through the window. People talked and laughed. It felt safe because it was ordinary. Kong Jun arrived alone. He did not look like the stories people told. He looked tired, older than his years, careful. He spoke gently. He explained the message. He said a child's honesty reached him in a way nothing else had. Mina listened, guarded but curious. Kong Jun did not defend his past. He did not pretend to be something he was not. He said he had built a life he was not proud of. He said power had kept him alive but empty. Then he slid a folder across the table. Inside were documents, legal, clear, real, a better job offer within one of his clean businesses, fair pay, stable hours, a scholarship fund for Ellie, protected and monitored, corrections to unpaid wages. Mina had never dared to question. Mina stared, stunned. She asked why. Kong Jun looked out the window and said something that stayed with her. Some people carry everything quietly. A child reminded me to look. Mina tried to refuse. Pride rose, fear followed. Kong Jun shook his head. This is not charity. This is repair. The word felt heavy, honest. Mina accepted, not because she was saved, but because she was finally seen. That night, the apartment felt warmer. Soup simmered on the stove. Ellie laughed softly by the tree. Ellie asked if Santa was mad. Mina smiled and said, Santa has helpers everywhere. On Christmas Eve, a small package arrived. No address, no return name. Inside was a paper star, colored unevenly, and a note wishing them peace and safety. Ellie hugged the star to her chest, far across the city. Kong Jun stood alone, holding a crayon drawing that had fallen from the folder at the cafe. A crooked star, simple, honest. He realized something had changed, not the world, but him sometimes. The strongest change begins with a quiet wish. A child's hope can reach places fear never could, and silent kindness, even when late, still matters. Comment where you are watching from and share what part of this story stayed with you. Subscribe for more cinematic stories that honor quiet strength, unseen battles, and the power of gentle courage.